Dude! The Jungle Cup? Where are my bongos? Where are my battlers? You know what it is, Jay Devon back at it with another video. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Subscribe if you feel my vibe, and power up punch the notification bell for more PvP content. Of course, for today's video, we are going to be taking kind of a first glance, I guess, a little bit of a first look into this Jungle Cup. First thing we're going to do is take a look at the announcement here on the Jungle Cup to make sure we get all the correct information and we're not missing any important details, right? So, get ready to face the wild. Become king of the jungle. Starting on July 1st. The allowed typings for the Jungle Cup are electric, bug, grass, and normal. So we did kind of get what we wanted. We're seeing normal typing in a Silph Arena themed cup. So this is very exciting. A couple of things to note. First is that there are restrictions on species. There is a ban basically on Tropius. Thank goodness. Thank you for banning Tropius, as well as what are they called? The Burmy family. So the Burmies as well as Tropius are not going to be allowed for this cup. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So there's no restrictions on generations. It's all typing allowed. Of course, it is going to be in the Great League. And yeah, I'm excited for this. Let's jump over here to PvPoke in a second now and take a look at some of the rankings. All right, so over here on PvPoke, the first thing we notice is that Fortress is ranked number 1. That makes sense. He's bug and steel typing. There's grass, not gonna be good at all against Fortress, right? We already know that. Normal, not really gonna do much against Fortress. I mean, there are some potentially dark horse picks that could stand a chance against Fortress, but that's a whole different conversation. So bug and steel typing, his optimal moves from what PvPoke is saying is going to be Bug Bite, Heavy Slam, and Earthquake. That seems kind of interesting. My gut tells me I would rather go for Rock Tomb. I think some of the reasons they might be opting for Heavy Slam in this situation is because of Alolan Graveler as well as Alolan Golem, potentially. So that's interesting. It makes sense 100% that Earthquake is one of the preferred moves. That's going to do great damage against a lot of the meta, just off the top of my head. Again, none of this is final. We're just taking a look at the meta and we're going to, talk about what we think about it. That's it. That's what we're doing here. Next in line is Vigoroth. Obviously, Vigoroth's going to be a huge threat in this meta. It is pure normal typing. You probably already know that, coming in with counter, body slam, and bulldoze. Bulldoze I can kind of agree with. There might be some preferred situations to have brick break. Not really though, because a lot of the meta is going to resist brick break. I want to go for brick break. I say I want to because of Graveler, Golem, as well as Magneton or Magnezone. I think bulldoze is going to be preferable. It takes more energy to get to bulldoze. Overall for coverage, I think that's why it's recommending bulldoze according to PvPoke. So next in line is Noctowl, sitting at number 3 with Wing Attack, Sky Attack, and Nightshade. I don't know why they have Nightshade. I would assume that Psychic would be preferred. Wing Attack, Sky Attack. Oh, Psychic apparently is used more, but they're recommending Nightshade. It's another one of those situations where they potentially looked into specific matchups and are recommending something different for specific situations. There you go. You have the Alolan. So there's Alolan Graveler and Alolan Golem next in line. Now Magnezone, my dude, sitting at number 6 with Spark, Wild Charge, and Flash Cannon. Now that's pretty interesting. As far as stat product, Magneton is going to be a preferred choice. It's going to be heftier and it has Thunder Shock as well as Magnet Bomb and Discharge. If you have the legacies, I would think that's going to be better. With Wild Charge, it is going to do a lot more damage. They're pretty similar. They're kind of the same pick. It's move differences. Scizor, Vespiquen, Venusaur, Pidgeot with Wing Attack is going to be preferred. Now, Wing Attack is a legacy move. You cannot get Wing Attack on any new Pidgeots. Even if you have shinies, I'm sorry, your shiny Pidgeot is not going to get Wing Attack. It can't happen. I'm lucky enough I do have a Wing Attack Pidgeot for Great League. I'm excited to test it out to see how it does. One thing I want to ask when we get more into the video, what we're actually going to do is take a look at the specific allowed typings and what might be preferred for those typings in team composition, okay? But where is Ninjask? I want Ninjask to be good. I want it to be good so bad. No. Where's Ninjask? We're in the 30s? What? Oh, where is it? 55?
Bruh.
Ninjask is ranked number 55? Oh, that's such a bummer. I really wanted Ninjask to be really good. It potentially still could be good. Don't underestimate Ninjask. The reason I say that, number 1, is because of Fury Cutter. Number 2 is because of Aerial Ace. Number 3 is not actually Bug Buzz. It looks like Bug Buzz is going to be used more often, but Shadow Ball. It can be potentially a dark horse pick. A lot of people had some hype about Raikou in the Rainbow Cup because he does have access to Shadow Ball, which could potentially be clutch. And that's kind of my feelings on Ninjask. I feel like he's the Raikou potentially of this this Jungle Cup. Now what we're gonna do is look at these specific types for this cup and rank the Pokemon of that type according to PvPoke. Now the first one, to type this in, we're going to be searching for bug. That is an allowed type. We want to see what the rankings for the bug Pokemon are. We already know Fortress is still going to be ranked number 1, but we potentially want to look at different alternatives for that Pokemon's typing for the purpose of team composition. Okay, that's my thought. That's my process with this. This is kind of what I do sometimes to look into these cups. So I don't know if this helps you. If you find this interesting, please let me know. Give a shout out in the comments below. Leave me your thoughts. But yeah, Fortress, Scizor. Scizor is pretty interesting. I think Fortress going head to head with Scizor, Fortress is going to win for the most part, but Scizor does have access to Fury Cutter as well as X-Scissor, which we all know is very, very spammy. It also has access to Iron Head, which potentially could be very, very good because Fortress, for the most part, has very, very bad charge moves as well as fast moves. Even though it's a tank, it has pretty bad moves. Next up is Vespiquen. I really like Vespiquen. The reason why, number 1, Bug Bite. I don't like Bug Bite so much, but having access to X-Scissor as well as Power Gem. Power Gem is why you might want to consider Vespiquen. It has that dark horse coverage, potentially against other bugs, right? Next up is Beedrill. We already know about Beedrill. We really don't need to go too much into Beedrill. Been there, done that. Looks like it's the same kind of recommended moves from what we're used to for the most part. So Poison Jab, X-Scissor, as well as Sludge Bomb. Heracross. My thoughts on Heracross. The first thing to note, if you don't already know, Heracross's bug and fighting typing, which leaves him very, very weak to flying types. So he is an insta-lose to flying types. But this is where some kind of team composition can come in clutch, because if you see Heracross in a lineup, you're going to be more likely to want to pick a flying type to use against him. So then you can have something else that is going to be rock, paper, scissors against that flying type. So keep that in mind with your team composition as we look into the Jungle Cup. Masquerain, not really too excited about it. There's just going to be better options. From what I see, honestly, going down the line, there's really going to be better options than most of these. My boy Ninjask, unfortunately, I do kind of feel like there are better options. I'm still going to test him out. I love them. I'm excited, but there's just better choices. There's no way around it. Let's look into the grass typings for this Jungle Cup. Venusaur is going to be at the top. He's a huge threat. There's a lot that's going to cover him very well, very efficiently, and very easily, but he is still a huge threat. Do not underestimate Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, and Sludge Bomb. Cradilly. This is interesting. Shout out to Poke8K for Cradilly here. Infestation, Grass Knot, as well as Stone Edge. I would have anticipated Bulldoze. Let's see. Now it looks like Bulldoze is not really used that often at all. I'm not sure why against this meta it would opt for Grass Knot more than everything else. I could see potentially because flying types are going to be immune to ground type moves. So that makes a little bit more sense. Going on, you got Ivysaur, basically a clone of Venusaur minus the Frenzy Plant. Sceptile, interesting. I do have a Great League Frenzy Plant Sceptile, even though it looks like Fury Cutter, Leaf Blade, as well as Aerial Ace are going to be preferred. Doesn't even use, kind of uses Frenzy Plant about 25% of the time. Almost never uses Earthquake. Keep that in mind because of those flying typings, okay? Down the line we have more grass typings, but this again is getting to the point where I just feel like if you're going to use grass, there's better options. I mean, there could be potential dark horses, but I don't want to look too much into this because we're just starting. We're technically still in Rainbow, so I don't want to go too deep. But Meganium, Breloom, Victory Bell, Tangrowth, Alolan Egg, Ludicolo, interesting, Gloom, Shiftry, Roselia, Roserade, Parasect. Okay, Parasect, Blossom, Bayleaf, Grovyle, Celebi's in there, yeah. As I go down the line, I'm not really impressed by some of the Pokemon that are available for grass typing, just in my opinion for this meta so far. So we're going to move on. Electric typings. I think this is where things can get a little saucy for this Jungle Cup meta. Ranked number 1 in terms of electric coverage at least is Alolan Golem. with Rock Throw, Rock Blast, and Wild Charge. Not Graveler. This is another one of those things where I would assume Graveler is going to be preferable, but with that terrible Thunderbolt nerf that we got, Wild Charge is just optimal every single time. Graveler is going to be a little more tanky than Golem is. Again, Golem having access to that Wild Charge, it's just going to be preferable. That's the way I think you're going to want to go. Moving down, we have Magnezone. This could probably take a lot of people off guard. They're going to think, why Magnezone? Why Magneton? They're so glassy. They die so quick. Here is why you potentially want to run a Magneton and or a Magnezone on your team for this Jungle Cup meta. Number one, there's going to be a presence of rock type moves, flying type moves, grass type moves, and bug type moves. He is steel typing. His key matchups, as you can see, are Scizor, Noctowl, Forretress, Alolan Graveler, Beedrill. The top counters, the things you really want to be aware of, are the fighting types, right? Breloom, Vigoroth, Raikou apparently is a threat, actually. I think Raikou resists him for the most part, but Heracross and Porygon Z, okay. But that's kind of my basic thoughts on the Magneton and the Magnezone situation for the Jungle Cup. Raichu, of course, that makes sense. Thundershock, Wild Charge, as well as Brick Break. Raichu could potentially be used as a electric type coverage for this jungle meta, while also potentially being a good counter to Magneton as well as Magnezone because of Brick Break, right? My gut says don't go with Brick Break, do Thunder Punch again, but this is a different meta. There's going to be different Pokemon that are going to command more respect and more defensive maneuvers for this cup. So Raichu potentially something to watch out for as well. Keep your eyes out for Raichu. Lantern, my boy Lantern coming back again, always coming in clutch. Now we're to the point again where we go down the line. I do feel like there's just better options, right? Lolan Geodude, I'm not feeling it. The Rock Slide is cool, but I'm really not feeling Geodude on this. Raikou, Minun, Electivire, Pachirisu, I don't know. Magnemite, Electabuzz, Electrode, Luxio, Plusle, Jolteon, Luxray, Manectric. Yeah, as it goes down, I'm just less and less impressed, to be honest. But now we're gonna move on again. Here we are with the normal type rankings for this Jungle Cup meta. Now, as we look at normal type, we already know without needing to look at it, Vigoroth's going to be number one. Again, coming in with counter, Body Slam, as well as Bulldoze. Noctowl is a normal typing. Remember that. It is Wing Attack, Sky Attack, and Nightshade is technically its preferred moveset according to PvPoke. Legacy Pidgeot is going to be a huge threat. I feel like Pidgeot is going to be more spammable than Noctowl is going to be, but overall I think Noctowl is going to be more of a threat simply because of Sky Attack. Sky Attack is a busted move. Moving on to Munchlax. Yes, Lick, Body Slam, and Bulldoze. Munchlax, I feel like it should not be underestimated. Lick can charge fairly quickly, and it's going to deal neutral damage to most of this meta, right? What is really high up there that resists Lick? Other normal types. That's essentially it. Cast Form. Yes. For you weather ballers out there, if you do have a weather ball cast form, now's your chance to use it. I don't feel like I'm going to. Again, I feel like there's better options. Furret, okay. Dunsparce with Bite, Rock Slide, and Drill Run, okay. Linoon, we saw this a lot in championships, right? Shadow Claw, Grass Knot, as well as Thunder. Pretty spammy, it can be very offensive, but there are also things in this particular meta that can destroy Linoon. But it could be potentially clutch and a dark horse pick. Remember that. Chansey and Blissey. Chansey and Blissey are going to be allowed for this Jungle Cup. Why are they allowed? Somebody is going to get cheesed with Chansey and Blissey. So it's going to happen to somebody. Someone's going to rage quit. I can see it right now. It's going to happen. Moving on. Miltank, okay. I kind of like Miltank. I like the thought of Miltank. Tackle, Body Slam, as well as Ice Beam. It provides good coverage. You get Stab with Tackle as well as Body Slam. So that's something to consider. Miltank, who would have thought? Snorlax, Lickitung, Fearow, Wigglytuff, Persian, Chatot. Oh, I don't have one. Why didn't I trade somebody at GoFest for one? Dude. Purugly, Shadow Claw, Aerial Ace, and Thunder. Interesting. Purugly could potentially be a threat. That's interesting to note. I like that. Raticate, of course, with Quick Attack, Hyper Fang. We all know about Raticate. Good old Ratty there. Delcatty, Licky, Staraptor, Drapvarig, Dodrio, Farfetch'd, Zangoose, Bibarel, Staravia, Exploud, Ambipom, Porygon, Ursaring, Teddiursa, Pidgeotto, Lopunny. Yeah, as the line goes down and down and down, I do personally start to get less impressed. I do like to see Kangaskhan on this list. Unfortunately, it looks like it is ranked very low. Kangaskhan's not going to be doing much at all. With Low Kick and Mud Slap as the fast moves, it's really not happening. I think you got to have something else going on to make Kangaskhan work. And look at this, slacking with Yawn and Body Slam is at the bottom. I think we all kind of anticipated that with slacking. So now just a second, what we're gonna do. So I built a very, very basic team. We're gonna look at it here in just a second. And I kind of YOLO'd on a little bit of Stardust and Candy so we could get something together and something going. So #jungle. So on my team, as you can see, I already have the Vigoroth. I did go for the shiny, not the best PvP IVs. I think it was like 6 in attack, 9 in defense, but it did have, I think, 12 or 13 in stamina. So it wasn't bad, and it was shiny. I had better options that were not shiny, but I want to go with the shiny flex for this Jungle Cup, right? We got to respect the Donkey Kong. Next up, from what I put together so far, I do have a Heracross. It has terrible IVs for PvP. I don't have a second move on it right now, but I do currently have Counter and Mega Horn. That's something I'm going to be investing into a little more. I'm really excited to use it and to test it out. Next up, I do have a Noctowl, okay? I went with Wing Attack, Sky Attack, as well as Psychic. I prefer Psychic over Nightshade simply because Nightshade is a terrible move, right? You're not going to get stabbed from Psychic or Nightshade, but Psychic is just a better move, strictly, and it can one-shot some Pokemon in certain situations, whereas if you add Nightshade as an additional move, you are so much less likely to win that matchup. Again, just thinking, none of this is really tested out or proven. We're going to move on. Here you can see my Vespiquen. My Vespiquen, this is my queen. It does have very, very good PvP IVs. I can't remember if the attack stat was 5 or 3. I want to say it has 3 attack, 15 stamina, and 15 defense. So I'm super excited for that. I'm super hyped to use it. I've tested it a little bit already. As you can see, I have Bug Bite, X Scissor, as well as Power Gem. Power Gem has come in clutch. It's been a threat so far in my testing. I personally am liking Vespiquen. Moving on. We have Magneton. He is Legacy. Unfortunately, I think previously I did TM away Thundershock. This was way before PvP was even a thing, but we do have Discharge at least. So we're going to Spark, Discharge, as well as Magnet Bomb. And yeah, I haven't really been able to use him that much. I'm trying out some more team compositions for battle testing. Next up, of course, we do have #1 ranked Forretress. I do currently still have Bug Bite, Earthquake, as well as Rock Tomb for the Rainbow Cup meta. I probably will end up changing Rock Tomb to Heavy Slam, even though I just changed it from Heavy Slam back to Rock Tomb. Moving on here, I do have my Alolan Graveler. I don't think I currently have an Alolan Golem. We can actually check that out. Yeah, I do not have an Alolan Golem for Great League. Oh, you know what? Why don't we just make one right now? Let's do it. I think Trainer Tips did this in a video a while ago, but we have one. This definitely should hit 1500. It has, let's see how it appraises. Pretty decent. HP, really strong. Might have good PvP IVs. Right now I don't care too much. I just want to evolve it into Alolan Golem so we can have it. Let's go ahead and evolve this. Not going to make you watch the whole evolve animation. There's the Graveler. Okay, Rock Throw, Rock Blast, Thunder, Bolt. Sweet, let's evolve again. There he is. All right, so we already have the Rock Blast. We already have the Wild Charge. Volt Switch? Nah, let's get rid of Volt Switch right now. There it is. We got our Alolan Golem. We're gonna power it up later, but we're gonna go ahead and title it for our jungle lineup right now. Then we're gonna move on with what else we have for our jungle so far. Here we are, back in the jungle. I am liking Lantern already. Why, might you ask? Well, flying types are more than likely going to be very dominant for this jungle meta. Right? The main thing Lantern needs to be scared of, #1, is going to be Vigoroth. Counter, Body Slam, as well as Bulldoze can really just run Lantern right over. So that's one thing to watch out for is the Vigoroth matchup. He is a threat to the bug flying types. He is a threat to the flying types. He is also a threat to the Alolan Golems as well as the Alolan Gravelers because of Water Gun. He can spam him out of here as well as the Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump again, it can be very clutch. That's why I'm considering Lantern. But that's it. That's all I have really personally so far for my jungle lineup. I hope this helped you a little bit. Hopefully it wasn't too repetitive, things you already know. I was a little late getting this out. It took me a while to get my setup going again since I got back from GoFest. A lot of stuff happened and you can see these beautiful upgrades. Look at that. Boulder, Twilight, Tempest, Kingdom, Nightmare, Rainbow. Reppin' the PvP. Reppin' the battlers. Let me know what your guys' lineups look like so far. What are your thoughts? What do you think could be some dark horses? Potentially more than just hatched a Munchlax. Okay, hatching a 2K now. More than just what do you think will be dark horses. I also, Krabby, not shiny. I also potentially would like to know what you think some good team compositions are. What Pokemon do you think are going to go good with what other Pokemon when you use your team of 3 or even when you're just building your team of 6? What are your thoughts? Leave them down below. Again, if you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe. If you feel my vibe, then power up, punch the notification bell for more PvP content. That is it for this Jungle Cup video. We'll see you in the next Jungle Cup video. Have a good freaking day.